Centralpoint Toolbox is built for the site administrator who wants a quick drag-and-drop reference library to build and maintain sites within Centralpoint. It is located under development within your client console called Toolbox and contains records which are snippets of code, or CP scripts, which administrators may want to reference and reuse simply by dragging and dropping anytime they like. You will find Toolbox whilst within any module within the client console, so the only people who will see or have access to this toolbox would be those client console users or administrators. When you open Toolbox from within a module, you will see that it is organized by its types of tools. Perhaps there are snippets of reusable HTML, or perhaps a reusable div, or animation that you may want to use. You can simply drag and drop that into the page itself, submit your record, and it will display within that page on the front end. So, you could use Toolbox whilst working in Module Designer, or perhaps within Forms when creating a new form, or virtually anywhere. For this example, we are going to create a new navigation page called Toolbox Test. Next, we will open our Toolbox by clicking on the small blue icon found in the top right of the screen. Next, we will explore the various tools available to us. So, I will select Design Layout and drag and drop a few things over so that you can see what I mean. Next, I might select from Design or HTML and drag and drop over some commonly used snippets. Finally, I will open Dynamic Content and drag in a carousel of staff members. So here, I am dragging and dropping a data source or a dynamic reference to something which will summon to the page. Finally, when viewing the HTML of this page, after dragging and dropping these items over, you will see all of the HTML was formatted appropriately. Let's submit our record and go take a look at it on the front end of the site. As you can see, all of my elements are serving to the page, including the designs, templates, and even the dynamic content or data source, which I dragged and dropped near the bottom. If I reduce the size of this page to one for mobile viewing, you will see that the elements I dragged in have inherited the core design styles for this site. Said another way, I didn't need to worry about what happens for mobile view, as the elements are dragged and dropped into and within the style of the site itself. So, you likely have a lot of data sources or design elements that you use and reuse often when crafting a new navigation page, or when designing a module, or even setting up a form. You may want to have a handy way to reference your favorite items, in which to save you time next time you are doing something similar. You can even create your own customized groupings to better organize Toolbox around your needs. To do this, click on Development within the client console. Then click on Keyword Lists. This is where the labels are managed which support the grouping of things in Toolbox. Then search Toolbox. Here you will see the Toolbox group, which contains those segmented, organized sections of the Toolbox. Next, click on the Toolbox group. Here you will see the options currently available in Toolbox. So, what we are going to do is to create a new one. Let's say, Just for Bob, where it asks for new keyword. Let's type in Bob's favorites. On the very far right of this new entry, you will see an icon offering a very small document with green checkbox. Click that. The new option, Bob's favorite, will be added to the list. But you must first save this record at the bottom. So we will click Save. Now that we have created our new grouping for the Toolbox, let's go to Toolbox under Development and click on New. You will see that we have a new category in which to group our reusable copy. We will create some sample copy, just to show you how it will be reusable later, and tag it to Bob's Favorites. Let's save our record and now go back to our sample navigation page we created earlier, but would also be available for any new record we may wish to create. We are now going to open our Toolbox, and there is our new group called Bob's Favorites. There, under the menu, we see our reusable copy. So let's drag and drop it over into the page and hit Submit. Now, if you step back and think about it, using a data source or dynamic reference to something is really of major value. That is because if you happen to place that dynamic script in numerous locations, it will always show the latest, greatest information wherever you place the script. This is because dynamic content shows the most recently updated records at all times. So, Toolbox is really built for dynamic references, like data sources, forms, or dynamic scripts. But, as you saw earlier, could be used for copy or pre-formatted HTML. Let's repeat the step, but this time adding a data source to Toolbox. I will go and find a data source, which is a dynamic reference to something. I will then copy the CP script for it, and then go add it to Toolbox, and again categorize to Bob's favorites. Like before, I will go to our navigation page and drag and drop over the CP script. So, when you drag and drop a CP script, you will not actually see or view the content. It will only show the CP script. This is okay, because we want it to be a dynamic script at all times. When a user loads the page, the CP script fires on their request and will serve the latest, greatest content in the area in which we have put it. Let's again save the page and return to the front end to see it work. Here, we see the dynamic content firing, or executing as soon as the page loads. And here is the content which that CP script serves. The other interesting thing is that data sources, dynamic scripts, or forms are filtering out what records should serve to which user automatically. This means that your dynamic script you just placed with the Toolbox is not just showing the latest content, but it might serve different records for different users based upon the audience or site they viewed it in. Or if they were logged in, it might also filter records differently based upon the job title of the user looking at it. So it truly centralizes your dynamic points of reference to consider all users from a singular, centralized platform. Toolbox puts you in charge of reusability, maximizing breadth and repeatability, creating a source of truth for any information you need to distribute to all of your many users.